My husband said he effing hates our baby and wishes it was never here. My husband has no patience with our 4-month-old. We're older parents. I'm 43 and my husband is 55. We've been married for 2 years and our son wasn't planned, it just happened. At first, he was happy, but once the baby arrived, I realized he was no longer happy. He rarely helps with the baby, claiming he doesn't know how to do anything, despite me showing him simple tasks like changing diapers and putting on clothes. He says it's too hard and never truly tries, so I've been doing it all myself. Our baby had colic and would cry more than usual. My husband hated that and would get very annoyed if our son cried for more than 5 minutes. He would yell at me, do something, get him to shut up, and never once tried to help. I felt so alone during the first few weeks after our son was born. Then my husband began complaining that the baby was taking up all my time and I had no time for him. Now, our son is 4 months old and has started being very clingy, crying every time I put him down. It's been really frustrating because there are times I have to set him down, but I never let him cry for more than 10 minutes. Yesterday, I had to run an errand and left my husband to look after our son. I wasn't gone for long. It was probably 15 minutes after I left when he called me, saying I needed to come back because he couldn't get the baby to stop crying. I told him to try taking the baby outside. Shortly after, I got a notification from the baby monitor and saw our son in his crib crying. I was so frustrated that I turned around and came back home. When I got back, our son was still in his crib crying, and my husband was just sitting on the couch. I was furious and asked him why he left the baby crying for so long. He said, I couldn't get him to stop. I fucking hate that thing and wish it was never here. His comment surprised and saddened me. I know everyone gets frustrated at times, but I feel like his comment was over the top and I don't know what to do anymore. Update, 4 days later. I'm planning an exit strategy that my husband doesn't know about. Even though he apologized for saying he hated our baby and wished it wasn't here, I no longer trust him. Recently, he has been trying to make amends, but I'm still uncertain about my feelings towards him. This morning, I woke up later than usual and found that both he and my son were gone. He had taken our son for a walk without informing me, which made me panic and almost call the police. They returned just before I did. I told him not to go anywhere with our son because I no longer trust him. He insisted he would never harm his son and that his comment was made out of frustration. He felt I was overreacting and was hurt that I viewed him as a terrible person. I told him only a terrible person would say they hated their helpless baby and wished they weren't here. Despite his efforts to help more by changing diapers and feeding our son, I'm struggling to move past his hurtful comments. He has 4 adult children from a previous marriage and he has a close relationship with them. From what I've seen, he seems to be a good father. Some people have suggested he might have postpartum depression, but when I brought it up, he dismissed it, saying he just gets irritated when our son cries for too long. He claims he's working on his patience, but I wonder if his age, 55, contributes to his lack of patience with our 4-month-old. I'm in my head a lot deep down. I think I know what I need to do to keep my child safe, but another part of me wants to give him another chance. Relevant comments. OOP when asked if it was a head injury since her husband is a father and had kids before. He's never had a head injury. He mentioned that he doesn't remember his own kids crying as much as our baby does. Has her husband been a hands-on father in the past? I've tried to get him to help with our baby, but he keeps saying he doesn't know what to do, despite me showing him. He admitted that he never did anything for his kids. His ex-wife did everything. Comment by OOP. I'm not judging him for expressing frustration. We all get frustrated at some point. But I'm currently at my breaking point. My issue with him is that every single time our son cries for longer than 5 minutes, he yells at me to shut him up or do something now. He doesn't even help or even attempt to. He's only started showing some interest in our son recently because I think he fears I will leave. Update 2. I know most people might think I'm crazy for leaving him alone with our son again after he said he fucking hated him and wished he wasn't here, but I thought things had gotten better. He told me to take some time for myself today, but then he texted me while I was out, saying he needed a break. It completely ruined my me time and gave me so much anxiety. I was already uncomfortable leaving them, but he kept reassuring me that everything would be fine. Our baby is going through the clingy phase right now, and I've tried to explain to him that it's normal, but he thinks I'm enabling it by holding him too much. It just feels like things aren't getting better. I don't know if I'm overreacting or if he's right that I'm holding our son too much. I'm just so frustrated right now. Transcript of text messages. H for hubby. H. He cries every time I put him down. It is all your fault because you hold him all day. H. When are you coming back home? I need a break. H. I can't get him to stop crying. You need to come home now. OOP. It's almost time for a nap. I think he's just tired. Can you put him in the crib now? OOP. I'll be home in an hour. OOP. I haven't been gone that long and you're asking for a break. You literally told me I could go. I asked you more than once if you were okay taking care of him and you said it was okay. H. Not if he's crying the entire time. I am not okay with that. OOP. You're always complaining. It's so exhausting at this point. H. Because you're not getting the point. You're making it hard for me. H. He's crying every time I put him down and you get mad at me for letting him cry. OOP. If you need to get stuff done, then it's okay to put him down and let him cry for a bit. I have no issue with that. OOP. You're trying to ruin the little time I have to myself. That's exactly what you're doing. H. Every time I try to talk to you, you get defensive. It's like you don't want me to say anything. OOP. Because you're not making any sense and you're trying to pick a fight with me because you have to look after your child.